Good evening, everybody. Welcome to One Hub Racing. This is the third race of the night. It is the Precision Tier action live from the jewel in the Formula One crown. It is the Monaco Grand Prix. I'm Luke Etheridge, making my return after 2 weeks of unfortunate absence. One because of my internet, one because I'm busy, but I think I picked a pretty good circuit to return with. We might even see a lot of retirements tonight. One driver, though, who can tell us all about how to survive 39 laps of this circuit is my co-commentator, fresh from the prospect here. It is Indecisive Matt. Matt, how's it going?
Well, I'd like to address the surviving 39 laps. I didn't quite make that. I got lapped twice, so I only did 37 laps. But, you know, I finished, right? But I'm good, thank you. How are you? Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. You finished the race. It's definitely more than I do, judging by how many flashbacks I used on my team. That's for one thing. If you weren't with us last week at Belgium, unsurprisingly perhaps, the Belgian weather played up to how we expect it to do. Intermediate conditions pretty much all the way through the race, but despite that, it was no problem for Scopefielder in the AlphaTauri taking the victory there. Dainstar getting his second podium of the season with a second place, and Khalifa finishing in third place. And as you said to me just before the stream started, Matt, what that means is the championship's pretty close at the top, to say the least.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's actually like more exciting than you'd think. I mean, not to say that it isn't, but like we've drummed up every week how exciting the action's been. You look at the table and think, yep, it definitely lives up to that. It is sensational up there. Five cars within 6 points.
As you said there, five drivers within 6 points? I mean, it's a bit more. Oh, the Mercedes have got a bit of a lead in the constructors at the moment, 35 points over Red Bull. Well, that's just because Mercedes have both of their drivers in that top five at the moment.
Yeah, it's just consistency in this tier is key, I guess. I mean, you might swap positions, but you're all still picking roughly the same amount of points every week. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one as well, because just Monaco, anything can happen.
Yeah, as Murray Walker famously said, anything can happen in Formula One. And it usually does. It looks like it's going to be nice and dry for qualifying, which is always what you need around this circuit. Obviously the shortest circuit on the calendar. And in terms of distance, the shortest race distance as well, as you don't do the full limit of the distance that you have to do normally for a 50% race, just because of how tight and twisty it is, as we see the two Mercedes cars heading out onto track at once. We've got an Alfa Romeo, that is Jonas, out on track as well. He also got asked in the driver's press conference if he needs to step up his game a bit, just because Alfa Romeo might think of replacing him. He's not had the best start to the season. He said it's just bad strategy under the safety car, and judging by most of the drivers' answers in the pre-race interviews, a lot of them are thinking their strategy tonight is going to be ruined by at least one safety car. I think the highest prediction we had any of the drivers for, I think there was a couple of drivers who said we might even end up with 4 safety cars. Dainstar said it's going to be 3 or 4. Ivan said possibly 4 safety cars. Hopefully we don't get that many. But it's always something to be aware of around Monaco.
Yeah, you could get a safety car at the drop of a hat, literally. It is quite full on and pretty. You think you've mastered the track, and then you start to lose focus a bit, and then you're face to face with a barrier. So it's unforgiving, this track in every sense of the word.
Yeah, most definitely. So we'll quickly run you through the top of the championship standings. Janel 48, Ollie Flavel 47, Dainstar 43, Scopefielder Khalifa on 42. The rest of the race premium drivers, you have Kian on 20, J Luke has 13, Jimbo and Verheyen on 12, Lukey currently 10 on 10 points. The guy we're on board with, Jonas Ulbricht on 3 points. Ivan has 1, Sam and Lawrence yet to score any points, as Jonas is. Who should we go for a hot lap? We've had one of the Mercedes, I think, just starting. We've just seen Janel coming through Zandvoort, keeping away from the walls, but now up on the run, up Beau Rivage into Macedé, where we saw a very controversial collision almost in the prospect race, coming through there into Casino Square, heavy braking into Mirabeau, where famously Nico Rosberg went a bit deep in 2014, and that really started signalling the beginning of the end of his relationship with his teammate Lewis Hamilton. He kept it nice and clean through the Lowe's hairpin, coming through Portier now. Very important to get this corner right, because it's one of the fastest parts of the circuit, coming through the tunnel, sticking tight over to that right-hand side. Very bumpy braking zones and not the easiest to overtake as you head into the Nouvelle chicane. Slight lock up from the front left tyre from Janel, our championship leader, but he's kept it nice and tidy through there, through to back as well. Full commitment needed through the first part of the swimming pool and the second part. You can hop over the curb a lot more on the game than you can in real life. Down into Vascas now. And then final corner, Anthony Doak's hairpin. He's got Kajman just ahead of him, but that shouldn't cause him too much trouble with the dirty air as Janel heads across the finish line, and it is a 109.749 for now as he nearly actually crashes into Kajman there. Interestingly, with the times, 109.094 the fastest now that we're seeing Mr. Simp doing. That's about what we saw podiums here. A lot of the drivers were asked, do you approach this qualifying any differently? And they said, no, I just take it flat out. I just want to get a driver's eye view of this, because to be honest, that surprised me, because if I was qualifying around Monaco, I'd leave a lot more in hand in my first couple of laps than I would at any other circuit, because at most tracks, a mistake just means you spin round, you might break your front wing. Here, chances are it could easily lead to retirement and starting at the back of the grid if you haven't set a qualifying time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm one of those that is aware breed that I always focus more on the race anyway, because I know that my one-lap pace isn't strong, especially here. I'm more concerned with race pace and getting a result. So, yeah, I didn't get my best laps in anyway. I kept invalidated and made a mess, but yeah, definitely always have stuff in hand ready in qualifying, just because of what you said. If you make a mistake, it could be terminal, so yeah.
Yeah, it can definitely be costly if you make a mistake. Interestingly, that Danestar's gone for the medium tyres, just given how little tyre wear there is around Monaco. Pirelli do bring their three softest tyres to this circuit. Back in the days of the ridiculous Pirelli naming system, this is where we saw the hyper soft tyres back then, so the softs are the equivalent to that nowadays. And surprising that Danestar is on them mediums. As I said, you don't really know what the strategy is going to be like around here. You'd expect soft, medium, soft, medium, medium, but as a lot of drivers have admitted, it just depends on how many safety cars there were. But apparently, back in season 14, our statman Austin told us the last time they raced around here, the top two tiers didn't see any safety cars, so maybe they might keep it all nice and clean tonight and they might be able to have a more conventional race.
Well, yeah, that's always the hope. The safety car doesn't ruin what you're planning for a killer strategy. But again, this is Monaco, so we never really know until we get going what kind of race we're going to have. Either way, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, definitely. You can argue it's the most important qualifying session of the season, as Ivan has retired, and as luck was said, Scope Fielder's going to come round the corner, squash his car in between Ivan's and the barrier at the back. No idea how he's got away without any damage there, because he's gone very deep actually into Vasquez. So I wonder if there is a bit of minor front wing damage, and he has abandoned his lap. That was something the stewards mentioned in their briefing, was traffic in qualifying, because obviously it is the shortest track on the game. When you've got 18 cars going around as we have here tonight, there's not really a lot of space for everyone to find some free air.
No, definitely not. So you have to just be, I guess, hyper aware is a phrase I used in my party with my teammate earlier. Just, you have to be aware of everything, even more so than you usually would be, because there's barriers and then you've got cars everywhere, and you just have to be extra careful not to impede. Whereas in other tracks you can see them coming, but here you might not see him till it's too late. Schnitzel goes in line there with a 1:10.4 is his best lap, but he's done quite a few laps on these softs, which wouldn't really make much of a difference here.
No, definitely. I think a lot of these drivers aren't too bothered. Maybe just, as we said earlier, maybe he's just building up to a better lap time. If you want to find out what times all the drivers are doing and you want a bit more of an insight, don't forget to use the TazBot. I will just get all the help functions up in the chat for you. Use it on YouTube to see what all the tyres, or what all the times everyone is setting. You can also use it to see what penalties everyone's on, and I think what we'll mainly be using it for, Matt, is seeing who can avoid getting any front wing damage in the race, because there'll be a lot of carbon fibre flying around the streets. I can pretty much guarantee that.
Oh, definitely, yeah. As we have a yellow flag, but I think that's just someone getting out of the way, so there's nothing to worry about. Well, yeah. I see at the time it means AJ in second place, he's quickest overall in Sector 3.
Yeah, quickest overall in Sector 3, so that suggests to me he's just got, maybe just good commitment going through the swimming pool. The Janel, he's currently actually fastest in Sector 1, so we'll see what the Mercedes driver is doing. Janel flying around. His teammate was involved in an incident in qualifying last time out with Ivan, where I think Khalifa thought he'd been held up by Ivan. Ivan did get a 5-second penalty for that. We also saw a 5-second penalty for the Williams of AJ, who's currently in second place. Thankfully for both of them, didn't have any effect on their finishing time, as we'll see what Janel can do as he heads towards the finish line, and that moves him up into second, and you can't get much closer than that.
No, I think it's pretty much impossible, so there you go.
Yes, 109.094. I'm glad it has put Mr. Simp first, because that is technically the rules, as AJ, he's now coming on his lap. Where do you see the crucial parts of this track for? Or in a qualifying session, is there any corner where you can really lose a lot of time if you make a mistake, or perhaps make a lot of time if you absolutely nail it, as we see AJ getting a bit sideways actually coming through the swimming pool?
Yeah, I was going to say Sector 3, the swimming pool in the final corner. If you get them right, you can find all kinds of time, but if you're slightly hesitant, then you lose time or you wing, so definitely key for Sector 3 in quali to get right.
Yeah, definitely. So AJ did improve on his time, but stays in third position for now. Danestar's on the soft tyres. Are we going to see anyone break into the 108s? There we go, 108.855. We would expect perhaps a mid 108 and maybe be pole position later on, given by the times we saw in Prospect and Podium. It was a high 109 in Prospect and a low 109 in Podium. So very good lap there from Danestar. Obviously, he'll be hoping to get that championship lead. Won the first race, didn't finish in the second race of the season, unfortunately for him. And last time out in Belgium, managed to finish in second place behind the junior car, I suppose, of Scope.
Yeah, it's, I guess you can call it that, but I was just looking at the former winners here from last season. We have 3 of them in this race. Ivanen, Lukey and Ollie Flavel.
Yeah, we
all
do.
won their respective last season. So
yeah, last time it was season 14, wasn't it? I believe the last full season, because a lot of the drivers, funnily enough, don't tend to like Monaco, and they were asked about that in the interviews as well. Which out of the 4 main street circuits of this, Singapore, Baku and Vietnam, ignoring Australia and ignoring China, and I suppose not China, Canada, maybe even ignoring Sochi, those ones that have borderline road sections, a lot of the drivers said that Monaco, because of the flow of Monaco out of the street circuits, it's actually not too bad, especially compared to Vietnam, where I think a lot of the drivers, just because it's a new circuit, and they'll be hoping they can get used to that later on in the season, because it is the finale, Vietnam they don't really seem to enjoy. A few drivers said, yeah, Monaco's not too bad compared to them.
Yeah, I definitely used that line of thought in my questioning. But, Ollie's way out of shape coming out of the final corner, that's going to ruin his next lap. But, yeah, Janel's quite a fan of Monaco. In fact,
yeah,
Monaco's the best. Singapore's okay.
Yeah,
high praise indeed.
Was it Janel who said Baku and Vietnam can get in the bin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
I see where he's coming from, I'm going to be honest. Yeah. And actually, Ollie, never mind a moment out the final corner, he's got front wing damage, so yet to set a time, has a 1-time Monaco winner and a 2-time Monaco winner. We're going to watch on his hot lap now. Out of all the current drivers in one hub across all 4 tiers, only one person has taken 2 victories around here. And when you consider that means a quarter of Luke's one hub victories have come around this circuit, he will, you imagine, be hoping for good things tonight, as he looks to be doing okay so far as he's coming through Sector 1. We'll just check what his time was through there. 18.440, so probably about good enough at the moment, you could say, just to maybe be on the borderline of the top 10. So not showing that pace that we've seen from Danestar, Sim, Janel and a few of those others up there at this moment in time.
Yeah, but like this is his first lap, so we will have to see what he's made of. He kisses the barrier there. Maximum commitment, maybe a little bit too much at this stage, but halfway through qualifying, so you're going to need a little bit more. But we'll see what his time is in a few moments when he crosses the line.
But the only line he's crossing is the pit lane entry line, which they've also been told you've got to be careful with by the stewards. It's not the easiest. They expect a lot of the action zones for this race to be obviously turn 1 into Sandoval at the end of probably the most useless DRS zone in Formula 1. Also possible overtaking opportunities for Nouvelle Chicane and the Vasquez if you are brave enough. And just looking at that, yeah, Luke, he had damage to his right side of his front wing. I think we saw that, and he also had a bit of damage to his left side. I don't think I've ever seen Taz go so crazy with damage notifications. The pit crews are going to be busy boys, and no wonder a lot of the drivers said, if I can just keep it down to the compulsory 2 stops, I'll be happy. I might have to do 3 or 4 depending on damage.
Yeah, that's definitely... You're going to see front wings flying everywhere. Stops that you wouldn't necessarily expect to see. I think someone in Prospect here had 6 or 7 stops by the end of the race, so yeah, it all goes as Mr. Simp goes quickest, 108.6, a little bit quicker than Dainstar there.
Yeah, so Mr. Simp fastest in the Alpha Tauri. His teammate was taken pole last time out with 4.5 minutes to go. Looks like it's Mr. Simp's turn at the top of the timing charts. Lawrence, he's looking for his first points of the season in the Ferrari. He's had a big improvement on his lap, but in 14th, he looks to be about bottom of those that have set a representative lap time, seeing as Kelvin, who is in the McLaren tonight, should introduce him. VR Kelvin did race last season in precision tier, finished 19th in this tier last time around, had a different name, was known as NS Kelvin. He's replacing Don de Boer for the rest of this season. Probably one of the hardest tracks on the game, really, when you just want to get settled in. You really don't want to make your debut at Monaco.
No, but it could work out. I mean, I know some drivers that made their league racing debut at Monaco, so, you know, welcome back.
Yeah, he'll be hoping for some decent performances tonight. Only finishing the points twice last time out, 9th and 10th place, getting him 3 points. But because of some of the work others had done, and I don't think I'll be complaining too much about this, was good enough to get him the Constructors' Championship in the end last season, thanks to Janel's work in that Toro Rosso, as they're now obviously named Alpha Tauri. They're looking very good indeed. 1-3 for the team, with Red Bull of Dainstar in between. Janel 4th, AJ 5th, Khalifa in 10th place at the moment, and Ollie still yet to set a lap. This is really, it's do or die now for the man from Jersey. He's got to get a lap in now, otherwise he's going to find himself starting right at the back of the grid, and he'll be having to hope for some sort of strategic miracle to get any decent points.
Well, you know, it's nothing like leaving the pressure on, especially around here.
Yeah, AJ's absolutely flying around. He's actually gone fastest in the first sector, personal best in the middle sector, so we'll see what this can do. Will it get him into the 108? Just misses out. He's back up into that 3rd place. So it was really the middle sector that cost him, because he was fastest of everyone in sector 1 and in sector 3, so maybe making a mistake into the chicane, who knows. We'll go back to see what Ollie is doing. He's just gone through that chicane now, obviously setting personal best, as he's yet to set a lap time, missing the wall at to back, which is always a good thing to do, as Eva Hannon, he's also improving on his time in the middle sector as well. 2 minutes 10 to go as Ollie very deep into Vasquez there, and I think that's probably going to have cost him at least half a second. We'll see what he can do as he comes up towards the finish line, and yes, only 12th place at the moment for the McLaren.
Yeah, he would have been expecting better, but he was hoping for better probably, but he's not done yet. We'll see. Looks like he's going to go again, maybe, I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he does go again. All the drivers now pretty much heading onto their final runs. We'll expect everyone else who's in the pit lane to be getting out on track, so it'll be very crowded with 17 cars. Seeing as, of course, Ivan had that crash earlier at Tabac, where he admits he wasn't going too fast. It was fast enough to retire, but not fast enough to break his wheel. So I'm sure the Haas mechanics are fairly happy with that, as in real life they tend to have good problems with fixing cars. Ollie going faster than he did last time around, as AJ has retired from the session. That is in the pit, so he's pretty happy with 3rd place, and well, Ollie's definitely messed it up at the chicane this time, just too much understeer, and somehow his wheel's fallen off as he wasn't even moving. He's out of the session. 12th will be the best he can do. Not ideal whatsoever.
No, but there's definitely points to be had from there.
Yeah, you never know what could happen. Man, we've not really looked at so much. Dainstar's teammate, Jimbo, is sort of in that midfield bunch at the moment after missing the first race of the season. He is currently 8th in the championship on 12 points. Got his only points in France. That's a very good lap indeed, just across the border here in Monaco. 6th position, 109.504. We've got Janel just starting his flying lap as well. See if anyone is actually improving at this moment in time. And Dainstar doesn't look at doing too bad. Only needs to find a couple of tenths of a second as Kian, he's gone off at Mirabeau by the looks of things. Or is that Lawrence who's... Well, both of the Ferraris have retired from the session. One is definitely off at Mirabeau, though, judging by the track map, as Dainstar does improve, but not enough. Stays in second place for now. And Janel, he's managed to sort of find his way through that traffic, was fastest in Sector 1. This could be a very good lap from the championship leader.
Oh, Ivan's not having a good time. He's got a penalty, but here comes Lukey over the line. See what he's got.
Yeah, we'll see what Lukey can do.
14th. Oh dear.
Yes, not ideal whatsoever. Doesn't seem to be enjoying himself at the moment. Khalifa's just given the wall a huge whack coming through to back. So that's pretty much it for any chance he had of improving. What can Janal do? Can he get into the 108s? Can he challenge that front row of the grid? Championship leader heads towards the line. He leaves the best until last. 108.582. Provisional pole position. And we just watched Mr. Simp tap the wall at Nubal Chicane, invalidated his lap. That is pretty much qualifying over then, and Janil, right at the death, snatches pole position. There's no wonder he won the championship last year. He's leading it at the moment, laying down a big marker in this qualifying session. Amazingly, still not without a win this season, but he's been extremely consistent.
Yeah, Dainstar would have beaten him, but he invalidated. I think he just wanted to see what he could do. But yeah, that's a good pole position there, right at the end.
Yeah, great lap then from Janel. His second pole position of the season earns him probably the most important front row of the year. Mr. Simp in second place. Very good to see he was having wheel problems before the session. Dainstar is third. Good lap from AJ. He's fourth. Last week's pole sitter fifth. Jonas, a big improvement, is sixth. Jimbo seventh. Verheyen, eighth place there, but he will drop down to 13th on that grid with that penalty. So behind Khalifa, Schnitzel, Kian, who will have free tyre choice, and Ollie, Flavel and Kajman as well. Lukey will start 14th. Going to be hard to get his third Monaco win from there. His namesake is behind in 15th. Then it is Lawrence, Kelvin, quite a long way off the bottom of the order, and Ivan didn't set a lap time. So a few drivers down there might be hoping for an early safety car just to maybe do something a bit different on the strategy. We saw, I believe, was it Cloudy Balloons we saw go for in the... in your race, in the prospect race, I think he pitted twice under an early safety car and then was hoping to maybe make it to the end on 36-lap old hard tyres.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. He's had to make a point after last week's forgetting to pit twice, so, you know, I think he just wanted to make sure he got them in. But, yeah, while we got a moment, I'd just like to thank our sponsors that bring you this stuff. Our sponsors are Next Level Racing, who are giving a wheel stand to the winner of the Going Gets Tough award. That's for drivers outside the top three that attend all races and do all their media obligations. And our second sponsor is Liam13, who's a fellow Prospecteer driver, and you can see his driver's point of view every week on a Friday if you go to twitch.tv/Liam13, and that is another point of view for you.
Yeah, and I imagine that'd be a very interesting point of view after his last lap collision with Nicky. So yeah, definitely check out Liam's channel. Check out our YouTube channel as well. All the races are uploaded to there. And like you said, Next Level Racing provide plenty of wheel stands and flight stands, seeing as I know Microsoft Flight Simulator is becoming all the more popular lately. I think there's still 15 drivers across all four tiers in the running. So if any drivers who are in the running are listening to this, make sure you keep filling in those interviews every week, because it's down to just 15 after 4 races of the season now. So who knows, you might be able to get yourself a wheel stand. There is also, of course, prizes for the top three in every tier. They get themselves PSN credit, trophies, merchandise, Constructors Champs as well. And the best commentator of the season will earn themselves £15 and a trophy. As we see what tyres everyone has gone for, and I imagine... Yep, pretty much everyone on softs, apart from Ollie on the mediums. In fact, both McLarens going for the medium tyres.
That's interesting. Interesting. I understand why they've done it, but at the same time, you might as well have won the softs. And if there's an early safety car, you can switch to mediums, and that'll give you so many options, which is what I was trying to do earlier. But anyway, I'm not in this tier for a reason. So we'll see what they can do, but starting on the mediums, bold move.
Yeah, very bold move. like you said, if there's an early safety car, you might as well go for the softs because the tyre wear is so low around here. We said it in qualifying, soft, medium, soft, or soft, medium, medium. As you just see that strategy coming up there, you have to do 2 stops. Cloudy Balloons found that out last week and cost himself a very good result indeed. So have to do the 2-stop strategy. We've got Schnitzel up in 9th place. He went to the softs last week, perhaps when it wasn't the best idea. He's having to slam on the brakes there. Yeah, he went onto the softs when it was a bit damp, but I think his bravery earned himself driver of the day there, as Janel's been disqualified from the session. Probably good job for him that happened near the end of the lap. Doesn't look like weather's going to be a trouble for anyone tonight, so any predictions who we could expect to see taking the glory here at Monaco?
Wow, predictions would be a fine thing. I'm going to go with someone that hasn't won this race last season. So I'm going to, you know what, it's Monaco, strange things happen. Go on, Lawrence, over to you, son.
Well, Olivier Panis, up until last week, was the last Frenchman to win a Grand Prix, and he won it from 14th on the grid, partly weather assisted, partly reliability assisted, but some great overtakes as well. So we'll have to see if the Ferrari can do that from 16th place, as everyone is now on the grid, and we wait for the lights to come on here in the Principality. Who will be tasting glory in 39 laps time? And we are underway, and it's a very good start by Mr. Simp. He might be able to go all the way around the outside of it. Janelle here into turn 1. Fantastic start by the AlphaTauri. Janelle down to second. He's got the Red Bull behind him of Dainstar. Obviously just hanging on behind as the timing screen does what the timing screen does. And we've got a virtual safety car already. Verheinen's got a 5-second penalty for a severe collision. I saw a lot of debris that looked orange, if I'm being honest there. So we'll see if Taz has anything to say about that. Kian, Lawrence, Verheinen, Ivan, all with damage, so it clearly wasn't orange, but very early for a VSC. I didn't expect one that early on.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's got to be a record. Half the grid wasn't even around turn 1 and I called it. But yeah, this is a great chance for Lawrence to turn his, go onto the hards and turn the strategy into a winning one. Go on, mate.
Yeah, we could see it happen. You'd expect the VSC to be cleared up pretty quickly. We'll talk about Mr. Simp's start. He flew off the start line. We saw Jano get disqualified and possibly hadn't got them rear tyres quite up to temperature, and Mr. Simp just got everything right, floored it, got set away absolutely perfectly, was great for the VSC to end, and we still got yellows in every sector, it says on my screen, so...
Yeah, I'm getting that too. That's cleared now.
That's better.
He's half left the session. That's annoying. He's in 3rd place. He'll inevitably drop back now.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, when you disconnect from the session, your car goes. Because if there's any track your AI might be fast enough to keep up with everyone, if it could block everyone, it would be Monaco. No one getting a drive-through penalty under the VSC as well, which is quite a rare occurrence, actually. Nowadays, with how tight it seems to be with the VSC, as he's back, thankfully. Kian putting on the mediums, as is Verheyen, and Ivan going for the soft tyres. But AJ has managed to get ahead of Dainstar, who has rejoined, but obviously not in control of his car yet. So we've got a AlphaTauri leading a Formula 1 race. Sounds extremely familiar from One Hub and real life now. Mercedes second, Williams of AJ in third. We'll see who the biggest winners were, actually, on lap 1. Lukey showing off his Monaco prowess, moving up 3 positions, avoiding all that carnage.
Yeah, it's Monaco, anything can happen. He's got a little lucky there, I guess, but great start for him, and he'll definitely be looking to keep on going. Next up for him is Peter Navoli, and he looks to be... It's too early to say if he's quick or not, but he should be, given the tyres that he's on.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Lawrence is pushing pretty hard, at least. He's just earned himself a penalty as Ollie's dived down the inside of Stixel there. That seemed like a long way back at Zandvoort before we've even got DRS enabled. So I wonder if Stixel actually made a mistake at any point to allow for that move to happen. Lawrence is coming into the pits now. He's changing his wing, so...
Yeah, he got damage on lap 1, and he was trying to see if he could hang it out, but clearly he decided that it's better to come in and change it, and yeah.
Yeah, if there's any circuit you do need to come in and change, I'd say it's Monaco, and I think the good old commentator's curse is proving that it is still active there for Lawrence, as he's down in last place and Kian in 15th. Not a good day so far for the Scuderia here. So Sim is in the lead of this race still. 0.7 seconds ahead of Janel. AJ, 0.5 seconds behind Janel. And actually, in all-time One Hub history, it is extremely close between Williams and Red Bull for who is the second most successful team. I think it's something like 21 points between them, which just sounds miraculous to be honest. And Ferrari not too far back either. Mercedes, as in real life, got about 1,000 more points than everyone, which is probably where Lewis Hamilton will be by the end of the season, as we've got Danestar and Jonas now pitting. I think Danestar has disconnected once again, but Jonas coming in, he's got front wing damage as well. He said he needed maybe a bit more luck with the safety car and with the strategy. Braking for his front wing definitely wasn't part of that plan.
No, I wouldn't have thought so, but you know, I guess he could joke about it if it gets him a podium or something. Then yeah, he did it on purpose. No, I wouldn't say that, but you know, cheeky little dig at the questions or whatever. But yeah, so far he's not having a great time, but very early on in this race, a long way to go. AJ gets 3 seconds there.
Yeah, it's going to be one to watch. Definitely penalties. It is usually into the Nouvelle Chicane. It's pretty much the only part of the track where you can extend. Anywhere else where you extend, there's a great massive Armco barrier in the way, so very tricky to actually pick up penalties apart from that chicane, as Kian does the same. Also possible at the hairpin as well if you jump over that curb too much. We're on board with Verheyen, 17th at the moment. They were asked in the press conference, in the team's press conference, AlphaTauri were asked about the performance of some of their drivers in the bottom two tiers. Renault were asked about their performance as he picks up a penalty in this tier and also in podium, I believe. And Jamie basically said these two, Verheyen and Sam, who's unable to make it tonight, as Ivan has a big moment there, just about gets away without retiring, has got big damage, so he'll be coming in for his second stop. Jamie basically said, we know Verheyen's quick, we know Sam's quick, this is a bit of a higher tier what they've used to, just give them time and they'll do well. And judging by how Verheyen did last week, you've got to say that's a fair comment.
Yeah, more than fair, and as we know, there's a lot of people here that are quick, but Monaco sort of neutralises everyone, I guess, in a way. So, yeah, it's definitely shaking up the grid, and people aren't where you might expect them to be, but we are 5 laps in, so anything can still happen, and as you mentioned earlier, very usually does.
Yeah, Calvin has been in again for the heart. No, he's been in once, sorry. Ivan's on his second pit stop. I think Lawrence will be making his second pit stop too soon, because there's a lot of damage to that front wing. He's even holding Calvin up. Oh, he's on harder tyres. We are starting to see a few of the front guys come into the pits, and Khalifa's
in
to the pits then.
As we know, he likes his undercut.
Yeah, I mean, if it gets you out in free air, because there is a big gap, as you can see, that he's just slotted himself into between 8th and 10th position. So it's definitely worth a try. He's going for the soft tyres. We'll be able to push them quite a while around here, and he's actually going to be very close with Jimbo. He's locked up, and that might give Jimbo an opportunity. Sweep around the outside. I didn't think that was going to be possible, so scrap everything I said in the last 20 seconds. That's not worked out quite well for Khalifa.
Yeah, it could have been worse, could have been better, but I think he'll take that. But yeah, he loves his undercut at this point.
Yeah, he's giving it a try here, but track position is king around Monaco. If you're going to have the undercut work, what you don't need is a car ahead of you, especially one that, with all due respect to Jimbo, so far this season hasn't shown the same pace as you and is on the slower tyre. So Khalifa is down into 10th position now, as we've got second place man, pole sitter. So, of course, the teammate of Khalifa pitting. He's going for the soft tyres as well. Scopefielder also into the pits. This is amazingly going to promote Lukey up into 4th position. He's definitely trying something different here, and it's worked for him. He's kept it clean so far. His race pace seems to be pretty good. Kajman into the pits as well. Well, let's see where Janel comes out. He will be ahead, obviously, of his teammates and Scopefielder. You expect to be as well. So Janel coming out not too far behind J. Luke. So I don't think it'll be too long, obviously, because of this compulsory 2-stop rule. We know the softs can go a lot longer than the 6-7 laps that everyone's done at the moment, but there's no point stretching them. You can pretty much have very fresh, very grippy tyres all the time around Monaco with this 2-stop strategy.
Yeah, it's definitely key there, and as we see, as you talk about keeping it clean, Khalifa, I'm going to got a 3-second penalty. So not quite keeping it clean there.
No,
but there are a few
lots.
more areas, of course, you can go. Turn 1 is another one, and out of the swimming pool is another, but they are pretty much the only 3. Everywhere else is a big metal barrier.
Yeah, and it looks like Janel's actually managed to find a way past J-Luke, so I wonder if Luke made a mistake or just realised he's on a different strategy. Might be in my interest to just let him go. The top 2 drivers pit. AJ gets a speeding penalty, so that puts Ollie Flavel into the lead of the race. He started on the mediums alongside his teammate. His teammate got damage early on and changed his tyres. Ollie did not. Simp and AJ going on to the medium tyres. We've got yellow flags in sector 3. Not quite sure what that's for, but the undercuts work perfectly well for Janel, taking the lead of this race. And Mr. Simp gets a corner cutting penalty as well. Simp's just got to play patience here, play the long game. He'll be able to go a lot longer on these tyres than Janel will, of course.
Yeah, and Lawrence is really struggling there at the back. Sorry, I think I may have cursed him. I'm sorry, mate. He's having no luck at all this season, poor fella, but he'll get there.
He's all over the place. He's out of the race, actually. He's out of the race, and that is a full safety car. And I bet a few of these drivers are thinking, why, oh why, did I not just leave it 1 lap longer? And I'll tell you what, Ollie, this could work out fantastically for the McLaren driver.
It really will, yeah. He's closest to the pits out of anyone and way ahead of the field there. This could work out a treat.
So he's, diving into the pits. I wonder if we'll see any of the other drivers who have pitted once come in and maybe think about putting those hard tyres on. We've seen Danestar, he's actually put the medium tyres on, so I do wonder, did he pick up any damage on his last lap to cause that? Janel in as well. I think we're going to see a lot of drivers put these. Well, he's actually going for the mediums, and I have done this race. You can do 31, 32 laps on the mediums. You'll have no pace at the end, but we've said it so often. It's so hard to overtake around here. It's really the only track you can get away with doing that. So, Mr. Simper now leads. AJ is second.
Oh, Danestar. Oh, dear.
Oh, you've always got to be careful with that delta time. So everyone has now pitted at least once. Ivan, Danestar, Jonas, Khalifa, Jimbo, and Janel most importantly, have pitted twice. I mean, it's worth a shot. You might as well try something. I'm surprised. I think I'm looking just quickly out of everyone who has pitted twice. Only the Mercedes, actually, who seem to be following each other on strategy. They've both gone for these medium tyres. Surprised they didn't split that.
Yeah, I am surprised, but I think they're looking at the lap counter more than anything and think, you know what, there's probability of another safety car later in the race, so we might as well go with the same tyres now and see what we can do later.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, like we said, everyone who answered the questions predicted a safety car, and a lot of people who answered the questions also said they weren't really hoping for that. So Luke said he was just hoping to finish with less than 3 stops. He's currently doing very well in 8th. Danestar said he was just hoping to survive, and I think that's the best way you can describe his race at the moment. Right down at the back of the grid, 3 pit stops, and we're only on lap 9. Danestar in 17th place at the moment. The man currently 3rd in the championship, in 5 points behind at the moment. As I mentioned earlier, he is one of the race premium drivers. You can check that out on the One Hub website if you want to find out more about what joys and what wonders race premium wins. Basically means you don't have to pay any season entry fee. That is covered by the race premium free, and you get mentioned by me more often, which might be bad if you end up crashing into the wall a few times, especially around here, and you get yourself a nice bonus sig, as well as a few other things as well. So we've got a Red Bull at the back, Alpha Tauri leading, and Mr. Simp, he decided not to pit. So a few of these drivers that haven't pit are probably guessing, right, 1 lap 10, there's already been 1 safety car, chances are there'll be another.
Yeah, and Mr. Simp didn't need to pit, he was already on the mediums, he just switched to them, so that's a good call there for now anyway. AJ again also just pitted onto medium, so didn't really need to try anything new, but Ollie's there in P3, so he's in a good position as well. Yeah,
Ollie obviously one of the big winners, even though he will have to stop again. Obviously he hadn't pitted at all having started on the medium, so great foresight from Ollie to think, yes, there'll be a safety car, but no, it won't be right at the start of the race, so I can get away with starting on these medium tyres. We'll have to see then Lights still on the Mercedes AMG in its traditional silver colours as it's going red for the Italian, well, the Tuscan Grand Prix. And never mind about going red, soon we're going to be going green.
Yes, it's all incredibly complicated if you're not following, but yes. Red safety car for the 1,000th race, is it, for Ferrari or something?
Well, at least a red car's going to be leading an F1 race this season. I suppose that's one thing the fans in Mugello have got to look forward to, as Mr. Sim, now he is going. He has let the flat drop. He is off, and Ollie Flavel actually getting a decent run there. Janil getting ahead of Schnitzel, I think briefly. I wonder if Schnitzel actually made a mistake, but we are green once again here at Monaco. Further down the back of the field, it looks like everyone's got through fairly cleanly at this moment in time. Calvin's actually dropped back a bit. He's got Ivan all over the back of him. And up the run to Beau Rivard. With the way that barrier has to bend around the many hotels and establishments here in Monaco, that gap was always closing. Dainstar has been into the pits once again. I'm not actually sure if he's back in the lobby or just having a really, really tough day at the moment. But that is pit stop number 4 for the Red Bull driver. So the top 3 actually getting away from Scope. And you've got to say, Scope and Schnitzel have got to try and use them tyres up a bit as well. They've got to pit again. They might as well try and see if they can get ahead of anyone and maybe build a bit of a gap. Going to be tough, obviously, around Monaco. It's tough to overtake around any Formula 1 circuit, but they won't be able to use them soft tyres to the best of their ability stuck in this traffic.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the one thing you don't want in Monaco is traffic around you when you're trying to either get some clear air or whatever, just to keep tyres under control. So it's definitely not the best place to be right now, but again, things change very quickly around this track.
Yeah, it looks like most of the drivers have actually managed to keep it fairly clean. There's a minor amount of front wing damage for Cashman and Verheyen at the moment, but definitely only be light green wing damage, so they should be fine to carry on and won't want to pit at any point. Janil all over the back of Scopefielder then, and this is just allowing all those overhead to get away, as we are seeing some battling further down the field then. Kelvin and Ivan, and I think Ivan, he might actually now have a tiny bit more wing damage. Indeed he does, and Kian manages to get ahead of Kelvin as well. Is Ivan going to be able to throw one down the inside at the hairpin? Ivan showed some good pace actually at an earlier point in this race. Yes, still has the fastest lap, and quick reminder on the points rules here at One Hub. Top 10, same system as Formula 1. Whoever sets the fastest lap in the top 10 and whoever sets it outside the top 10, they both get a fastest lap point. So that is something to bear in mind. Always keep fighting, keep going to the end, because you can chuck on the soft tyres, maybe get yourself the fastest lap. As Ivan, he'll be coming into the pits this lap. Lukey, that safety car period really didn't work out well for him. He dropped a long way down the order. He's now 13th as AJ's in. That is, of course, service his 5-second penalty and put on another set of tyres.
And a win by the look of it as well. He's having a nightmare right now. Well, you know.
It's Monaco. It's a fact of life. You are probably going to break your wings. Dainstar seems to be enjoying himself a bit more now. That's a very good lap, actually, on the hard tyres, 1:11. Considering qualifying, so only saw a few drivers get to the 108s and the softs, and they've got 2/3 of a race fuel load. He's definitely pushing and enjoying himself at this moment in time. And we've seen gaps grow at the front of the field. Mr. Simp now leads his race. Ollie is second. Janil has popped his way ahead of Scopefielder, who actually seems to be struggling a bit on those soft tyres. I think that's why I initially checked for damage, because he seems to be struggling a bit more. Schnitzel's actually got the most worn tyres of anyone at the moment, so despite only doing 2 more laps than Scopefielder, he's really, really struggled on those tyres. Now we'll have to see, can Ollie catch up to Mr. Sim, and can Janil has to catch up to both of these guys. He's not going to think about driving flat out at the moment. He just needs to be careful, avoid any lockups, avoid spinning the wheels on traction, because unless there's any more safety cars, which is a very big if, the race is in his hands.
Yeah, race is definitely in your hands. You'd prefer that than anything else. But there's a lot of people getting penalties out there as well, so just as far as I know, Zimp is not one of them, so just keep it as clean as possible. Let the guys behind make the mistakes and just keep driving.
Yeah, that's what he got to do. He's just got to like have his own race on track. He's 3.5 seconds ahead of Janelle, but like we said, these two have to pit. Janelle does not. It's not extremely hot here around Monaco. It's fairly cloudy at the moment, according to our TAS system. Track temperature 31 degrees, so it's warm, but the tyres won't mind that too much. As Verheyen picks up a penalty, maybe that front wing damage. Well, I'd say it's actually costing him, but he seems to be right on the back of Luke at the moment, who's right on the back of Kajman, who, perhaps unsurprisingly, given his tyres are a bit more worn than some of the others, he's right on the back of Schnitzel, and as I say that, it's almost like he's listening Schnitzel into the pit lane in the Williams. So both of the Williams have actually dropped down a long way down the order after this safety car, as it looks like Khalifa has actually managed to make a move with the DRS on Jimbo Mansi into Sanderbach. Very clean, very good move from Khalifa. And again, he's another one who just has to think about his own race, try not to get stuck in dirty air, try not to get stuck in battles. As I say that, he's got Kajman, Luke and Verheyen right in front of him.
Yeah, right in front. That's where you want to keep your closest rivals on the day. But I was just having a quick look at, as it stands, table. Janel is extending his lead. No, he's not. Oh, he's ahead of him, but that'll switch to Ollie in the lead, but not by much. It's very tight.
As it stands, it's 2 points, and it's only a 10 race season, so every race counts. Any retirements could be absolutely fatal for your championship chances. Although saying that, Danestar's already had one, and he's involved in this cluster. 5 cars, 6 points separating those at the top of the championship. As AJ has left the session, hopefully he is able to rejoin at this moment in time. We're seeing quite a lot of lockups from these drivers, and I mean, this is a perfect illustration. It's just, especially when you're in a DRS train at a lot of circuits, it's difficult. At Monaco, that makes it almost impossible. Into Sanderbach, you really got to then rely on the chicane, or if a driver makes a mistake, you can throw one into Raskas.
Yeah, it's not a recommended move, but if they've made a mistake, you might as well. You're going to have to go for it because you'll be so much quicker than them anyway. But it's definitely not an ideal thing to do.
Yeah, memories of, I think it was Karun Chandok who nearly got his head taken off by Jarno Trulli in 2010. But we have seen it's possible to do it in there, but you might end up leaving a bit of your front wing on the track as well. As this queue now behind the racing point, you've got J-Luke, Verheyen, Khalifa, Jimbo, Jonas, all in DRS range of him, but they're all just at that annoying gap where you're always close to the driver in front. You'll always get a bit of benefit of the slipstream. You'll lose a bit in dirty air, but you're never really close enough to go for an overtake.
Yeah, it's definitely frustrating, but they've got to keep their heads cool and just keep going. It feels like a longer race than it probably is for some drivers, but this is a pretty impressive train at this point of the race, as you've got Jimbo Manzi going on the back of it as well from Khalifa there. So yeah, it's definitely the most pointless DRS zone on the calendar, but I guess if you have it, use it.
Yeah, you might as well. Can always help you save a bit of fuel and DRS to maybe go for a move later on in the lap or later on in the race. As here we go, on board with J-Luke. You can see Kajman just avoiding that bump and also covering off that inside line. And you do actually get a good run through Mirabeau. If the driver in front makes a mistake, you can throw one up the inside into the hairpin. Although, I think if Luke did that to Kajman, that'd probably lead to Kajman dropping behind this entire train of cars. So I don't think the racing point would be too happy about that. Out in the lead of the race, though, gap staying pretty constant between Simp and Ollie Flavel. Janel's definitely just closing in by a 10th or 2 a lap. Yeah,
you can definitely see that the gaps all the way down the field are sort of fluctuating about the same mark as they're currently reading. But the Hannons had a little bit of an issue with J-Luke there at the hairpin, I think it was, so he got all out of shape, which gives Khalifa the upper hand as yet Verheyen goes in.
Yeah, so Verheyen, his tyres were getting older. He did have a bit of front wing damage, and it wouldn't be too surprised. He might as well take this opportunity with his second scheduled pit stop to get that front wing change. So he's going to chop quite a long way around the order, probably behind Schnitzel and Danestar as well. So the Renault driver will be down in 14th position at this moment in time. Amazingly, in a slightly weird start, I was just looking at the lap times, and none of the top 10 have actually set any of the fastest sectors in this race. It's been Dainstar, Ivan and AJ, which just shows a lot of drivers got pace. It's just keeping it clean seems to be the problem. Fastest man on circuit, though, that time around out of the lead drivers. In fact, looking at this, they all set a 1:12.9 on the last lap. Great consistency from these guys, from Simp, Ollie and Janelle. Get the gap to the leader up. Simp and Ollie have got to try and go on a bit longer and hope that maybe Kajman holds these guys up a bit more, because otherwise, if they're pitting now, they're coming out right in that long train, and any chances they have of maybe fighting up the order later on the soft tyres will just fly out the window.
Yeah, you definitely need to be thinking about possible windows as well. That's why if you've got a teammate in the party with you, you can sort of use them as a sort of buffer in to see where they're going to come out, which was what I was doing in Prospect earlier. I was using my teammate a lot to try and find out gaps or whatever. So yeah, communicate with your teammate and hopefully he can give you a position later in the race. But yeah, you definitely don't want to be stopping now.
Yeah, Khalifa, never mind about later on in the race, he's just thinking about gaining positions now. Another move down the inside into Sanderbot from him. He gets ahead of J. Luke. He is up into 6th position. And as we see the stops, there you can go. Out of these front 7 drivers, it is only Janelle and Khalifa that have made both their stops. Jimbo, Jonas, Lukey, Kian, Snixel, everyone below them has done their compulsory 2 stops, which if you don't do, you will find yourself getting disqualified. And actually, one of the rules that we didn't mention and we didn't actually check, I hope no one read it up too early this week, because AJ fell foul to that last time out, got himself a 5-second penalty, and you need to be careful, because if you do it 2 times in a row, it's 10 seconds, and I have seen that cost drivers race wins before.
I didn't notice any in this lobby, but there was definitely one in Prospect earlier.
Ooh, so someone's taking a trip to Scorpion and the stewards, with White Fountain being there as well as head steward at this moment in time. Lap 20 then of this one-hole Monaco Grand Prix, as Kajman's gone very deep there, and I think Khalifa's just going to say thank you very much. This is going to get tight going up the hill, but Kajman has to give up there, and Khalifa, he's pulled off some good overtakes, and sometimes you just get a bit of luck like that.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. They all count, right?
Yeah, with my racing, I tend to be unlucky and bad, so, you know, a bit of either wouldn't be too bad.
I keep trying.
Yeah, keep trying, and that's all you've got to do. As Kajman picks up a penalty, so he's actually looking like he's starting to struggle. Schofield then probably just going out maybe a couple more laps to head on to the medium tyres. He's in 4th position at the moment, 14 seconds off the lead of this race. Been a bit of a quiet drive for the man who's obviously got pole last time and a victory. He's another one of those who's up there in that championship battle at the moment. He's currently 4th on 42 points, so tied on points with Khalifa. Not had the pace of his teammate today, but still looks to be doing a very respectable job. Yep,
respectable job indeed is the order of the day, I guess, for so many of these drivers. You know, J. Luke up in 6th now. Ollie started way outside the top 10. He's up in 2nd place, so yeah, just keep going, as Ivan is just having a bit of a nightmare, really.
Yeah, penalty-wise, it's not going to plan for Ivan. Kajman has come.
That's 12 seconds now. If he gets many more, he'll get disqualified by the game. Careful.
Yeah, I think he's on course to be okay. I think we have seen disqualifications around here before. I think it was Samster who actually once managed to pick up enough penalties to get disqualified around here, which is a bit of a miracle. As we said, it's not the easiest track to pick on penalties on, especially when you consider some other circuits. France earlier on in the season, that's usually one that we see a lot of penalties. And Ivan, it's another front wing for the Haas. He's out on the hard tyres. I can't imagine he's actually got too many fresh tyres left. Has the Haas driver. That's his 4th stop of the race. He is in last position then. Go back, you can see how crucial it was to Khalifa to get ahead of Kajman when he did. He's now 3 seconds ahead of J. Luke. He'll be catching up to Scopefielder before too long, but as we said, it won't be too long before Scopefielder's putting on the medium tyres. So, 19 seconds for gap behind Mr. Simp at the moment. We could see a 1-2 for the Mercedes team.
Yeah, it's definitely not out of the question, as we've got blue flags there for somebody. Didn't catch who it was, but saw them at the side of the track there.
Yeah, that'll be Ivan, who's not really going to plan for him at this moment in time. He's gonna, any chance he's got of gaining perhaps from another safety car just heading out the window at this moment in time. Then Simp seems to have stepped up the pace ever so slightly, actually. He's now 2.2 seconds ahead of Ollie Flavel, and the gap back to Janel has swapped around again to about 4 seconds as Schnitzel managed to find his way past Kian on those medium tyres. He's got the move done somewhere into the first sector, and that puts the Williams driver up into the points to Schnitzel. He's scored points every race this season. Last time it was down in 13th, but he got that fastest lap, but he's currently on course, you've got to say, for another top 10 finish, especially with a few of those ahead of him in this train. Luke and Schofield especially, they'll have to come into the pits once more to avoid that all-important disqualification. As now Schofield, you can see he's got Khalifa right behind him, who's not able to make the move stick into Sandoval this time, although he's got a fantastic run coming out of there. This is going to get very tight and tasty up the hill once again, and Khalifa, who says you can't overtake around this circuit?
Wow, I did, but Khalifa's like, you want to think again, son? Alright, fair enough, point taken.
No, he's tried it pretty much everywhere into Sandoval, and that's now twice on the right hand side of that hill coming up Beauregard. Just Kelvin picks up another time penalty as well, currently down in 15th. Not looking like a glorious return to the positions here for the McLaren driver. His teammate though, he's actually really starting to drop back a bit from Mr. Simp. It's now 2.7 seconds, just changing around to 2.6. Check what they did on the last lap. Janel was slightly faster than him, and Mr. Simp was 3 tenths faster than Ollie, and Janel, as I said, slightly faster than Mr. Simp as well, so maybe on that lap again, half a second gaps, Ollie's slowest out of these 3 drivers. Possibly, maybe he'll be the first one to pit, or is he just trying to stretch it to the soft tyres? And this might be an opportunity. Ivan has retired, but it's in the pit lane. I got a bit too excited there for another safety car. It's in the pits. That won't cause any problems. The Schnitzel's now got ahead of Lukey, actually. In fact, as Lukey had a problem, I think Lukey's had an incident. He's got front wing damage. He's got a lot of cars getting past him, and he's into the pit. So, bad news for Lukey. Hopefully he'll be able to carry on. But yeah, Ollie looks like he's struggling a bit more on these tyres, but they'll just be trying to stretch it out now to put the softs on.
Yeah, they'll definitely be trying to stretch it out at this point, but that is a definitely broken wing there for Lukey. Ivan also broke his, probably retired in the pits. I think he's... Weird. I mean, this is a track you never really want to give up. I mean, you shouldn't want to at any point, but I understand some drivers just have it off.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Simp, I think it's just got caught out by the ghost car of AJ there. And absolutely sideways coming through the first part of the swimming pool. Did very well to hold it. Had to cut the second part, and what we were saying about that gap growing, it's been absolutely chopped down. Obviously, Ollie will have to put the soft tyres on because you have to use 2 sets of tyres, but just when you think it's all running smoothly for the race leader, Monaco can bite, and it very nearly did there.
Oh yeah, definitely. As you say, I was looking at something else, and then the leader has a moment. It's like, wow, this is brilliant stuff every week.
Yeah, it's always good at Monaco. Can always be a bit of a spectacle, and the on-track action has definitely provided tonight. And what a hub. Same time every week, 6:15 for Prospect, 7 for Podium, 7:45 for this one, the Precision, then 8:30 for Pinnacle, which is underway now with their qualifying session. Schofielder has come into the pits, and he has come out in 12th place. He's on the mediums. As for Heynen, he's managed to get past Kian, coming up the hill again through Beauregard. He's now got Danestar just behind the pair of them. And fair play to Danestar. After the start he had, no one, I don't think, would have blamed him for just retiring from the race, packing away and saying, look, I've disconnected a few times, it's not going my way, but he can still pick up some points here. As we check the lap times, I think he's still got the fastest lap. So
he's still the fastest lap, definitely, yeah. I was just checking that a moment ago. Well, he's had a moment there. Having said that, as he enters the tunnel, the back end didn't want to go with him. He held it out of the barriers.
Yeah, 16 laps, hard tyres. Obviously the hards don't have the grip, but I think that was more just the dirty air maybe catching him out ever so slightly. Simp seems to have grown that gap once again, and now Janel right on the back of Ollie Flavel. Surely he'll be asking Jeff how many more stops Ollie has to do, and he'll get the answer. Even if this was a conventional one-stop race, well, he's got to do one more stop, as the other McLaren of Kelvin has had a spin somewhere. Hopefully he'll able to recover. Hopefully there's not too much damage, so we don't get any virtual safety cars. But we are seeing a few more drivers, maybe a bit fatigued, because at a lot of tracks you can have a bit of a bit of a breather down the straight. Even the straights at Monaco aren't exactly straight.
Yeah, I was saying to my teammate earlier, I was like, I'm losing, I'm tired. I need this race to end. I'm just losing and started to make mistakes towards the end of the race. About lap 28, I think I started to struggle. So yeah, it's definitely a grueling one mentally.
You've got to have full concentration. We have seen a few drivers make mistakes. It seems like Mr. Simpson has recovered. We're into the final third then here of this Monaco Grand Prix, and it looks like AlphaTauri could be the first team to get 2 victories this season. Currently on 42 points, 48 points behind Mercedes, but Mr. Simp does have to pit. Let's not forget that, and that will, as does Ollie, that's going to put Janel in the pound seats, and Khalifa 18.4 seconds behind. We could have a really good battle actually for that second place at the end, with Simp and Ollie catching up to Khalifa on, of course, much fresher and softer tyres.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that prospect already. It's going to be fantastic grandstand finish. But
yeah, again, we've seen a move into Beau Rivage actually now from behind, and he's up into 8th. Cadman pits again. I'm gonna take a slight punt. Yeah, big front wing damage for Cadman. So looks like it's going to be no points for Racing Point this time around. But carry on, put them soft tyres. Fastest lap point.
Yeah, that's what he's got to go for. Can't say I blame him at this point, but I'm pretty sure people behind him are probably going to think about the same thing as well. So yeah, definitely going to be an interesting finish for many of these positions. So bring it on.
Yeah, it is going to get very exciting. A lot could depend on when we do see pit stops from the leading 2, maybe even J-Luke as well, who at this moment in time will drop a long way out of the points. He's got Jimbo all over the back of him. Jimbo's only had 1 point finish so far this season. That was a 4 in France. J-Luke, he's improved as the season's gone on. 14th with the fastest lap in Holland, 8th in France, and best finish of the season so far was 6th last time out. It doesn't look like he's going to get points this time, but if this was a conventional one-stop race, we'd be saying he's driving a perfect race at this moment in time.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Sometimes you have to, in the heat of the moment, you've got to remember mandatory 2 stops. But as a one-stop, it's a great strategy to be on, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty good job at the moment. Yeah, Dainstar's been passed by Scope. I wonder, Dainstar's got front wing damage, so he's going to be coming into the pits again for what would be his 4th pit stop, equaling Ivan for the record. Beginning to struggle on those hard tyres. Imagine if he's got any soft tyres left, as will everyone outside the top 10, as we said a few seconds ago. If they've got any soft tyres left, they'll be pitting, they'll be going for it, because if you crash out, you're not losing any points. If you get the fastest lap, gain yourself a point, as Verheinen's now got past Jonas as well. All of a sudden, he's waking up in the Renault. He was near the back at the start of this race. He's flying through the field. Yeah,
he did this a couple of rounds ago as well. He started off very slowly and started off picking up all the positions, which is why he got nominated for Driver of the Day. He started to show his form that won him the title last season. So yeah.
Yeah, let's not forget, we have got 2 of last season's 3 champions in this race. Verheyen from Podium, Janel from Precision, and Lewis is currently racing now in Pinnacle, where he took the title last year. But Verheyen is fastest man out on circuit at the moment, the only man to get into the 112s on that last lap. He is absolutely loving life at the moment on what are, to be honest, compared to most of the field, apart from Scope and Lukey, and then Kajman, who's pitting now, and Dainstar, the fastest tyres. You'd expect him to be flying through, and won't be too long, I don't think, before that Red Bull of Jimbo's got his mirrors full, as well as we are seeing a pit stop and change of the lead. Mr. Simp comes into the pits. He's targeting now. This is going to be close with Khalifa. He's going to drop behind, I'm fairly certain of it, because of the momentum that Khalifa's had, although obviously he do cut out a bit of that first corner, so this could be close on the exit, and Simp's got ahead.
He has. I'm not sure why that happened, but maybe Khalifa made a small error somewhere. But there's a yellow in sector 2. There seems to be a car off of the chicane there.
Yeah, it's Lukey in the Alfa Romeo. He's in 12th position at the moment. J-Luke's pitted as well. He's put the soft tyres on. That now drops him down to 11th position. So maybe a chance for the points for him as Schofield is fighting up the hill with Kian. That Ferrari was all over the place coming out of Sandoval, and I think Kian did very well indeed to maybe avoid just slamming straight into the back of the Ferrari. That would have been a huge crash up there and could have even brought out an extremely late safety car in this race, which might have neutralised things a bit. Khalifa, he'll be a bit gutted, although we're now seeing Ollie come into the pits. There was a couple of seconds gap between Simp and Khalifa. We saw how close it was with those two. This is going to be very close with Ollie and the Mercedes, as Khalifa is coming around Anthony Nose, and now this could really make or break Ollie's racing. And is that alternate strategy starting on the mediums helped him out with the first safety car? Unfortunately, he has dropped behind, so he's going to have to try and fight his way up, but he's on those softer tyres. 9 laps to do it. This could get tasty.
Oh, it definitely very much could. And I'm pretty sure it will.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will.
Janel, what's he going to do for the rest of the race?
I think Sim... I suppose you can think, right, I might be able to get the fastest lap in the top 10 here. That's one thing. But is it worth risking what looks like a certain 18 points at this moment in time? And I mean, I'll have a quick check of some of the penalty situations for these drivers as well. Simp's got 3 seconds, as has Khalifa, as has Ollie. Verheyen, who's now 5th, so already actually got ahead. I said Jimbo might have his mirrors full. He didn't for long. Verheyen's already got ahead, but he's got 9 seconds. Jimbo's kept it clean. Jonas on 9. So Mr. Simp's not gaining a place on penalties here from Janil, and he's probably not losing one. Maybe just think, okay, I'll see if I can set the fastest lap at the start. Don't go crazy, just in case I make a mistake. But second place is obviously a very good result, because I believe at this moment in time he's not got any points. He's not finished the race yet.
No, he's definitely a race to get your first points of the season. As we see a moment ago, Dainstar improved his fastest lap of the race. No, Scott, who was it? I'm seeing things.
I think
someone just went quicker.
It was Dainstar. Dainstar was done a 109.935, yeah. So he's basically qualifying lap at the moment on those medium tyres. He's feeling a lot more comfortable than he was earlier on. Ollie's already right on the back of Khalifa. They've just got Kajman ghosting in between, which is he's always distracting. I'm normally in the position of the ghost rather than the one who's being distracted. It's always very difficult, as Khalifa's not at the best exit there, as Dainstar is out of the session. He's only going to try and go round the outside, though, of the chicane. He's just been squeezed ever so slightly. This could get very tight on the exit. Khalifa's got the inside line for Tabak. Buddy drops back. Ollie, not hanging around, gets that podium place. Dainstar, just a retirement in the pit lane. So we are down then to 15 runners in this race, and that means Dainstar won't be getting that fastest lap point, as we've had a yellow flag in sector 1. Not sure who that could have been for, to be honest.
Could be Dainstar's ghost car going back on track, possibly.
Yes, it could be, but we've now got one in sector 2, and that is Kian, who was spun around. That has allowed J-Luke to get himself into the points.
Yeah, it's all change every lap here, and it's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, you sort of like need multiple screens here to try and keep an eye on. We've got another yellow flag in sector 2. I think that's again for just Dainstar's ghost car seems to be enjoying himself at this moment in time. Mr. Simp is pushing like a madman at the moment. He's absolutely loving himself on these fresher tyres. Last lap around, he was 2 seconds faster than Jano. 2 whole seconds.
That is a lot of time around this track. Well, most tracks you can find maybe a second, but two seconds a lap around Monaco. Definitely some of it is to do with tyre wear, I'm pretty sure, but yeah. Well, let's enjoy this one. It's going to be a grandstand finish.
Yeah, and Janel's actually a lot slower on that lap as well, as Verheyen's got himself another penalty. So that is now 12 seconds for the Renault. He's going to be 5th across the line, you imagine, but he might drop a long way down from that later on. Unfortunately, Janel's telemetry seems to be playing up for me, and Ollie's actually got this could make it very interesting. Ollie's got quite a lot of damage on his front wing at this moment in time. I think Khalifa's got a minor bit, so maybe that battle's not over.
No, certainly not. I was just looking at it. I think there was a lot of... I think Khalifa hit Ollie and Ollie hit Dainstar somehow.
Yeah, and yeah, it's actually looking at Khalifa, he's not got a lot of damage on the right hand side of his front wing. He has on the left hand side, so don't see Khalifa being able to work his way up, and with the way damage cost you at Monaco, who knows what could happen. We could see some more mistakes, as Verheyen, I think, has just wiped out part of his front wing as well, so that might give Jimbo the chance to get ahead on track. I think fatigue is definitely playing a part of it, and again, we'll check what the gap is across the line this time around. We'll check what it is time-wise. So Janel's done a 1:13.839 on that last lap, a 1:12.195, nearly 2 seconds again. He's got the gap down to 4.6 seconds with 5 laps to go. We could see a final lap shootout here for the victory in this race on track. Obviously, Mr. Sim's got to get 3 seconds away, but I think he'll still want to get the checkered flag first.
Yeah, definitely. It's a matter of pride. If you don't get the win because the penalty's fair enough, but you always want to take the checkered flag first round. Monaco, it's a pinnacle. There's going to be a lot of battles on the last lap, definitely. So let's strap in.
Yeah, let's wait and see how this goes. A bit like we said, Ibrahim, he's also now got a bit of damage. Jonas could be catching up to the back of him and Jimbo. Well, these tyres are getting about old Schnitzel. He's just cleverly got his way through the field as well. He's currently in 8th position. Scopes back into the points after that late pit stop to change tyres. He was one of the one-stoppers in that train earlier. And J. Luke as well. It looks like he's going to get points in 10th position at this moment in time. Mr. Sim, he's still absolutely playing around this track at the moment. 3 seconds at this moment in time. The gap will be coming across the line. A 1:13.8 for Janel, a 1:11.9 for Mr. Sim. He's just ascended to a different level at this moment in time. Let's not forget, he was leading this race. It's strategy. For all the good driving that Janel's done, it's strategy that he's got in this at this moment in time. And one slight mistake, it could all change.
Yeah, even like a lapse concentration for a tenth of a second, you're in a barrier. If you know, put the throttle down too early, you're round and in a barrier. So yeah, every corner now becomes the pressure. But I can see Khalifa's pushing as he's using max fuel mode at the moment.
Yeah, I think why Khalifa's pushing is obviously he's got them cars behind him. He knows that he needs to make hay while the sun shines on the straights and take advantage of that as Kian's coming into the pits. That will be he's putting the mediums on to try and see if he can steal that fastest lap for outside the top 10, which is now, because of the retirement of Dane Star, that is currently held by a Lukey on a 1:12.1. Fastest inside the top 10 is unsurprisingly Mr. Sim on a 1:11.7. And he's got that gap down to 1.7 seconds with 3 laps to go. He's probably going to catch up at this rate on this lap. I can't see him overtaking next lap and building up 3 seconds, but it could be mightily close.
Oh yeah, I mean, General's a 28 lap old mediums here. So, it could happen.
Yeah, when I did this on my team mode, I think there was about a 20-car train behind me of cars, and I was losing 3-4 seconds a lap. Obviously driving at a much, much slower speed than these guys, but the mediums will definitely be second best at this moment in time. And I did say I was surprised we didn't see a few more go for the hards, like Jimbo and Jonas did, but maybe they just wanted that extra grip at the start of the stint. It is down to less than a second at the moment. You can see Janel just locking up there through the chicane. It's now about 0.7 seconds. Janel's actually managed to keep it extremely clean, so he's probably not going to pick up a penalty at all. He's got no warnings, whereas Sim, he's only 1 warning away from another penalty, but this is going down to the wire. Are we going to see a move thrown into Sandavot here, coming onto the penultimate lap of the race? We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. That is the racing point of Catchman, who is out, and he gets a 5-second penalty for corner cutting as well.
Ouch.
Sort of just adding salt to the wound that you've retired from the race, but you're not safe from the stewards, adding 5 seconds to your DNF time. So there we go, down to the 14 runners now. All of a sudden, Sim wasn't able to make a move into Sandavot chicane. Possibly if you can get a good run coming through this second mirror bow and then through Portier, but you can just see the concertina effect as Jonas, he's into the pits. This is a bit surprising. It says he picked up damage, or has he picked up a puncture? I can't see a puncture, but yeah, Jonas into the pits. I'm not quite sure.
Don't see damage either. I think he's just tyres.
You're gonna get you might get a fastest lap point, but I don't see why you do that, as Khalifa has actually Well, we've been looking at his teammate dropping places. Khalifa's dropped behind Verheyen and Jimbo. It's all looking very tight now between the Mercedes drivers and what position they are going to finish in. Janil, going a bit deep into Raskas. Sim following him as well. So the final lap of the race, Janil in the lead by half a second. Is he going to hold on to take the victory? On penalties, it's probably going to be his, but Mr. Simp is going to absolutely throw everything at him as well. Can Jimbo get ahead of Verheyen, and can Khalifa hold on to what is currently 6th place ahead of Schnitzel? He's got Schofielder right on the back of him as well. And just going back to that Jonas pit stop, I don't see why you'd give up track position and potentially, I mean, he was 7th, wasn't he? So that's 5 points he could have thrown out the window, maybe 4 if he gets the fastest lap. I've got to say, I think that's a strategy mistake once again from him.
Possibly, yeah, but maybe he had a puncture and we couldn't see it. But on the topic of Verheyen, he's not keeping 4th place. He has 12 seconds of penalties. Keep that in mind as well, as he loses the back end coming out of turn 1. He's definitely pushing, but he's going to lose positions at the line. But how many, we'll see. But Janil is leading the way. Still.
Yeah, we'll have to see. He's managed to hold it on. Overtaking is, well, catching up is one thing, overtaking it is another. Schofielder, though, has got ahead of Schnitzel, and he's right on the back of Khalifa, so that's going to be something to watch. But Janil, he made the 2-stop work brilliantly with the safety cars. He's going to come across the line to take his 2nd victory of the season. Janil takes the victory. Great result for Mr. Sim to get his first points in 2nd. If you want to see how much damage cost you, look at Ollie Flavel, 36 seconds behind these guys. He was right on the back of Sim when he came into the pits. He's now got Verheyen and Jimbo all over the back of him as well. So Ollie, thanks to penalties, will still cross the line. In fact, no, Jimbo's going to get a podium here.
Yeah, he would do, yeah. As Verheyen gets another one, oh dear.
I mean, Verheyen he's just trying absolutely everything here to try and at least finish on 3rd place on track. It will drop back. Ollie's going to drop to 4th place. He will cross the line in 3rd position, though. We'll see Jimbo. Absolutely fantastic job by Jimbo.
Khalifa?
4 places.
No, Khalifa stays 7th. Well, drops to 8th, actually. Schnitzel P6 and J. Luke gets 7th.
Wow. So instead of Mercedes 1-2, and just look what a bit of damage, well, a lot of damage, I suppose, to your front wing can do to you. Khalifa 8 for Verheyen, dropping 5 places due to penalties. You've always got to keep it clean. That's one of the most important things in league racing. Janil did that, and he's been rewarded with the victory. Faultless performance right at the end of qualifying, and you've got to say a faultless race, as J. Luke is rewarded driver of the day by the game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that I should start thinking about a driver of the day. There's so many people that to give it to as well, like last week and the week before. It's I don't envy you, because I've got to do the same thing as well here, picking a driver of the day. So there we go, Janil taking a victory, Sim in 2nd, and Jimbo in 3rd. So as they're spraying the champagne, I will go through the race results while keeping in the back of my mind, and I've got to try and pick a driver of the day out of these lot, as Janil took the victory. Yes. Mr. Simp in 2nd, Jimbo moving up a few places to get 3rd, Ollie Flavel in 4th, great job from him today, Scope 5th, Schnitzel 6th, J. Luke in 7th, Khalifa was 8th, Verheyen, and then penalties dropped him down to 9th. Jonas picking up another point for the Alfa Romeo team, his first top 10 finish since the first race of the season. Lukey, his teammate, not able to add to his wins here, finished 11th. Kian was 12th. AJ 13th. He'll be disappointed with that after a good debut last time around. Calvin was 14th. They were both lapped. Kajman is classified despite crashing out near the end. Dainstar will get nothing for that fastest lap after retiring. Ivan and Lawrence we saw having plenty of troubles as well. So, Mr. Indecisive Matt, who is your driver of the day, and what would you like to ask them? I'm going to go with P2. It's his first point of the season, so I just want to ask what the magic formula was that he couldn't reproduce elsewhere.
Yeah, so that is a very good question for him. And you know, I know he had a penalty at the end, and you know what? I'm still thinking about it. I'm stuck between about 3 drivers at this moment in time. So, what do I? You know what? I'm gonna go for the boring choice. I know it's not what everyone wants to see. I'm going to go for the dull choice. I'm going to go for the race winner. He got no warnings whatsoever. I can't remember him picking up any damage. He got pole, he got the victory. Great drive from Janil, but did you ever consider going for the hard tyres just to have a bit more comfort at the end? Because as we all saw, Mr. Simp was catching you at an extreme rate of knots. So we've gone for the top two. They started first and second, they finished first and second, but it definitely wasn't straightforward for either of them, and you'll be able to check their answers out on the One Hub forum. They'll be posted to them later on today. You'll also be able to vote for the driver of the day on Twitter as well to see who wins the driver of the day. It's always nice for a bit of bragging rights amongst the drivers, that one.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, always something to maybe get one over on everyone else. If you've had a bad race but you get a driver of the day. Obviously, the two nominations we've had very good races indeed, and that means Janil extends his championship lead at this moment in time. We said earlier on we've got 5 drivers in between 6 points. He's all of a sudden extended his lead up to 14 points ahead of Ollie Flavel at this moment in time. Still a long way to go. Next time out will be round 5 of the season, as after that we're at the halfway point of the season, and it is another one of the shortest tracks in Formula 1, the Red Bull Ring, for the Austrian Grand Prix. So I hope you can join us for that one. Thank you for Matt for commentating alongside me this week. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you guys so much for watching as well. If you want some more One Hub action, there is of course the final one of our tiers. The fastest of our tiers is live now, and that is the Pinnacle tier, so make sure to check that out. Make sure to check them all out as well after the race on the channel, and as Matt said earlier on, check out our sponsors, Liam13 on Twitch and Next Level Racing as well. But from the two of us, we will see you in the box next time at 7:45 next week for the Austrian Grand Prix. Goodbye.
Good night.